Hello everyone, and welcome to Low T Talk, your information hub for hormone replacement therapy and conquering the issues of low T. Today, I want to talk about the silent blocker. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say, you had a rough day at the office. And let's say just at the office because you've been busy, you had a rough day, you grab some fast food, and then you stay up all night thinking, man, that was a rough day. And you do this repeatedly. I'm not saying this just happens once. And I used to be like this. I used to get stressed out, and then I would eat bad foods, cheap stuff at Walmart, just grab some ramen, maybe even sometimes fast food. I didn't really exercise, or, if I did, it was not enough. And on top of that, sometimes I didn't get enough sleep. Well, I started having issues with my member around this time. And I started to wonder what was going on. It was interesting to me because I just thought, okay, stress is kind of bad. Stress causes problems, but didn't really have kind of a scientific basis to go off of other than, okay, well, stress makes your body tired and it's not good, so try and chill out. Then I went to actually go get my tests like I've talked about, when you see you're having issues with, testosterone or something related to that. Like I was also feeling tired, losing muscle mass, so it was a bit foggy up here, in addition to issues with libido. And then a day that the whole thing, poking needle here, taking blood, and then they came back and said, some of my free testosterone, if you remember free testosterone, what it is, if you remember that gas can example, you have your testosterone bank with the gas, but if you're not getting free testosterone, there's a leak in the gas tank. So there was a leak in my free testosterone. I wasn't getting the free testosterone that I should have been getting. Now, interestingly enough, I wondered, why. They said something was blocking it, or, there could be potential things blocking it. And one thing they asked right there, right as I was getting my test, was, how's work? Is it stressful? Were you stressed out? And I just thought, okay, well, stress, yeah, I was stressed out, but, I thought of it in a very general sense, like, oh, if you're just stressed out, if you just go to meditating one day, it'll be good, right? And I didn't really have a concept of why they were asking me this. And I said, yeah, I used to have a pretty stressful job in a call center. I was pretty stressed out in general, and it wasn't a good situation. I wasn't eating healthy. I was doing a lot of bad stuff, to put it mildly. And they said, actually, try and reduce, like, if it's not a huge issue, try and reduce your stress levels. And I said, well, why would that be? And the big thing was, I didn't know this myself. This is something I actually, did some research on afterwards of my own interest, is that there's a chemical called cortisol. And what that will do, if your adrenal glands are just pumping it out, is block free testosterone. Now, why does it do that? Why would something my body naturally makes do that? Well, if you think about it in terms of human evolution, we've always had a fight or flight system. If you're in a dangerous situation, your fight or flight system gets activated. It gets you out of that life-threatening situation. And that was good for evolution. That's why I'm here. That's probably why a lot of you guys are here and gals who are watching this. Now, here's the issue with that. As you know, a fight or flight system, when it's activated, is supposed to get you out of a life-threatening situation. But when you're stressed out at the job like this, at your computer all day, or with the boss or in the meeting room, and you're just getting more and more bogged down and more stressed, and the stress is constant, then your body's fight or flight is always activated. And the interesting thing is, it's not a life or death situation in most cases. I don't know too many TPS reports, to make a joke from Office Space, that will be fatal. Maybe if the boss gets really angry, but I think you'll survive the TPS report or, the issues at the office. But always create stress and stress and stress. And what happens is that feeds that cortisol. So the cortisol is active, and then what that does is block free testosterone. There's a more scientific explanation of it, but again, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but I did look into what this thing called cortisol was, because they never, ever mention it. And the interesting thing about cortisol is it can also lead to issues with weight gain. It can cause a lot of problems. It can cause a lot of different things, but it's not something that's mentioned too much. Like when people talk even about in the realm of getting healthy and losing weight, they say, oh, why don't you, try diet, exercise, eat healthy? But if you exercise too hard and you exercise too much, put too much stress on yourself, that can also dedicate, too much cortisol production. And cortisol actually comes from the adrenal glands, which are triangular shaped organs above the kidneys. So when it comes to cortisol, there's no way to really gauge it, to get a snapshot of it, other than, yes, getting an appointment, getting some type of usually blood work or something drawn or some sample drawn, and having them evaluate it and say, hey, your cortisol level is way higher than it needs to be. And this isn't something you can just, say, oh, okay, well, I'm stressed today. I'm not going to be stressed from a week from now, and my cortisol levels will be good, right? I don't know. I can't tell you. That's not a good way of evaluating it, because you can watch this episode and say, okay, well, I'm going to stop stressing out over stuff. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to sleep more. Did that make a difference? I don't know. Did it? The way to find out is to schedule an appointment, to go in, get some type of work done, usually blood work. I know it's not fun getting the needle, but sometimes you go get that or another type of sample. Their different clinics do different samples. And by doing that, they can say, oh, okay, your cortisol levels are really high. You told us you were stressed out at work, and it matches up with what you said. A matches into B, which is good. That's what you want. Now, if you're having issues with cortisol, definitely get an appointment. But a few things I will personally recommend just to deal with stress. I'm not a stress management coach. I'm not really making a stress management show. However, if you're getting stressed out, put it in terms of this. Is it a life or death situation? Is it something that's really going to impact me? Many times a guy cutting you off at the freeway, or somebody not making your sandwich right in the morning, maybe you can drop that stress level a little bit, stop worrying about the huge things. Also, make sure you're getting a decent amount of sleep. Don't compromise on your sleep. Not only will it make you less productive and hurt what you're trying to do, it'll hurt your health as well. And then definitely look into eating healthier foods. Stay away from a lot of processed foods, and stay away from a lot of different types of foods that would generally be unhealthy or just manufactured and store-bought stuff like cheap ramen or things like that, like I was doing. And definitely just overall take care of yourself. Exercise, but don't exercise too hard. And what do I mean by that? Get in the gym. And I used to, exercise hour and a half, thinking I'm doing good for myself. I'm stressing myself out. Your body kind of has an intuition. Go in the gym, get a good workout to where you're sore, to where you really feel it, but not so much that you're stressing yourself out, that you're just pushing so hard that your body can't take it anymore. And this is a big one in my opinion, because a lot of people want to go to the gym and I want to be a macho, type dude. Or, I want to train for something, so I just go hard and hard and hard and hard. And what's that doing? Well, if you go too hard at the gym, and really this is more of a feeling than anything. It's not me saying, well, Kareem, is it this weight? Is it this many reps? If you go too hard at the gym, not only will you feel it the next morning, you get up, I can't move, but then you'll increase your stress levels. Yes, too much exercising, too much pressure from physical activity can lead to, the increased production of cortisol. And that's why it's important. Don't stress out your body. It all really comes down to this: being good to your body. If you're going to engage in hormone replacement therapy or any type of therapy, you want to be good to your body. You want to put your health and your well-being and your mental well-being before everything. Because let's face it, if you lose your health, if you lose your well-being, if you lose your mental state, there's not much else, that can really be done in that situation. And I know this sounds, simple, and you might say, okay, well, I've heard this before. However, it really is a chemical. There really is a science behind it. There really is a silent blocker that's getting activated too much. You don't want too much cortisol, and too much cortisol can lead to a lot of issues, including blocking your free testosterone. Well, what does that do? That can lead to erectile dysfunction, like we talked about before. That can also lead to a lot of other problems. That can lead to, your body functioning incorrectly. So it can lead to weight gain. Now, how many of you want to experience any of that? And it's not to say that that's the only cause of it, but that is quite a big cause that I've seen and I've read about. A lot of people, when I started researching this, talked to me about cortisol and said, hey, did you know that there's a chemical called cortisol that can block your free testosterone and may be causing all these problems? That was the first thing many people went to. And actually, the first question they asked, out of many questions about my diet and everything else when I got an appointment, was, hey, I just have a question for you. Are you stressed out? What's stressing you out? And ask yourself that. So you can start with asking yourself, what's stressing me out? Is it work? Is it the gym? Is it prior commitment? Is it a relationship? Really ask yourself, why is it doing that? And this isn't an excuse not to be productive, but what will happen if, a minor slip up happens? What will happen if I don't get it exactly right? What will happen if A, B, and C? Stop worrying about that. Stop worrying about the guy who cut you off, the person who messed up your sandwich, the guy who made fun of you on social media. All the little things. Eliminate stress from all the little things. Remember, your fight or flight doesn't need to get activated every time there's a minor inconvenience or there's something that, you're worried about. You don't have to always clench up into that. Allow stress to happen when it's huge, major, catastrophic events, then okay, fine. Or if it really is a fight or flight situation, then it makes sense for your cortisol to be active. Then it makes sense for that to happen. But when it's happening all the time, and in this modern world, it seems to be people are under stress all the time. And I was one of those people, especially, working at the office. I was one of those people at some previous occupations. I was always stressed. I was always worried about every little thing. And how did that help me? Well, it got me some money, I guess. But then I had to go turn around and spend that money to get my health back. So was it really worth it? Was it really worth all that time? So now I'm going to get on my computer and we're going to go over some of the ways to help with cortisol, treatment, not saying it's treatment, but some different ways that you can help potentially regulate it. This does not knock out and I'm going to say it again, this doesn't knock out any reason to go get tested for it if there's some issues. I'm going to give you some helpful hints. I'm also going to give you more of a medical perspective of cortisol, where it originates, what it does, and all of that. So guys, I will see you soon on my computer, and thank you so much de-stress, be good to yourself, enjoy life, get that cortisol down, but also get tested for it. Hello everyone. So today we're taking a look at a couple articles. One is healthline.com, and it's an article, 11 ways to naturally lower your cortisol levels. And as we talked about, cortisol is a stress hormone released by the adrenaline glands, and it is important for your body to deal with stressful situations as your brain triggers it. However, when cortisol levels get too high for too long, prolonged stress as we were talking about, the hormone hurts you more than helping. And over time, it can cause weight gain, high blood pressure, cause problems with your sleep, your mood, your energy levels, and it can even contribute to diabetes. So what are some things that can happen when cortisol is high? Infections, impaired brain function, tiredness, weight gain, and chronic complications, especially those being the worst ones: high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, things you don't want. So what can you do? Getting the right amount of sleep. And they took a look at a sleep study. If you're on a night shift or you have some issues with your sleep, there's different things you can do to your sleep, but getting on a good sleep schedule. And here's some things that you can do. No caffeine at night, limiting your exposure to bright light at night so you can sleep without, waking up or being distracted, limiting distractions before bed. Don't have your TV and video games and different things in your phone running in the background. Limit interruptions, by using earplugs if you need to. Put your phone away. And definitely, if you're able to, some people are not able to, take some naps. Napping can help with sleepiness and prevent sleep deficit. Exercise, but not too much. Now that's what I was talking about. Depending on the intensity of the exercise, it can increase or decrease cortisol. Now, intense exercise increases cortisol shortly after it. Although it increases in the short term, nighttime levels decrease. The short-term increase helps coordinate growth of the body to meet the challenge. Additionally, the size of the cortisol response lessens with habitual training. While even moderate exercise increases cortisol in unfit individuals, physically fit individuals do experience a small bump in intense activity. In contrast to maximum effort exercise, mild or moderate, you can say exercise to 40 to 60% of maximum effort does not increase cortisol in the short term and still leads to lower levels at night. What does that really mean? Exercise decreases cortisol at night. Intense exercise increases cortisol in the short term due to stress on the body, but decreases the following night. So exercise, as they say, but not super hard. Don't go full bodybuilder, because sometimes when people, take a look and say, oh, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to go intense as possible, it's not going to do as much help as you think. Learn to recognize stressful thinking. And I'm just going to briefly touch on this. Training yourself to be aware of thoughts, breathing, heart rate, other signs of tension, stress. Stress mindfulness emphasizes self-awareness of stress thoughts and signs of body tension. Become more aware of your stress, its triggers, and that's the first step to really successfully coping with stress. And then when you can put away all those little things that are putting you in a stressful state, become an objective observer even, as they say here, instead of a victim. Say, okay, well, these issues happen, but I'm just going to look at them with an open mind, instead of saying, oh, this is all happening to me, that bad things are happening to me, and freaking out. Learn to relax. You can do this through meditation. Deep breathing is a simple technique as well. Many relaxation techniques are proven to lower cortisol. Examples include deep breathing, yoga, tai chi, music, and massage. Have fun. I think that goes without saying. Get some hobbies you enjoy. Get a feeling of well-being. Tending to your own happiness will keep cortisol down. Taking up a hobby, go outdoors, take a nice hike. Laughing can help. So go tell some funny jokes. Just don't get them from me, because sometimes I like those little puns, or I share memes and don't always laugh at them. Maintain healthy relationships. Now, relationships with your family or friends can lead to happiness and can help decrease stress. So, spending time with your loved ones, learn to forgive, forget, to put it, aside if there was some kind of conflict, and that will help with not only your emotional health, but your physical health as well. Another one's take care of a pet. An animal companion can reduce stress, lower cortisol levels, and pets also benefit from positive relationships with their humans. And they're just fun. Be your best self. Resolving guilt improves life satisfaction. So if you're holding on to something, if you're mad about someone from doing something, just holding on to it, it's not going to help you. As Aristotle said, anger is like holding, poisoning yourself or drinking poison, hoping that your enemy will get inflicted by it. So let go of those past tensions, let go of those past problems, let go of those past conflicts. Tend to your spirituality. If you have, now this is one of those things, I'm going to say, whether you're spiritual or not, performing acts of kindness can also help improve your cortisol levels. Just really get into a feeling of saying, okay, you don't have to follow this or that, but a random act of kindness is not only nice, but it can actually improve your health. Eat healthy foods, dark chocolate, fruits, black and green tea, probiotics and prebiotics, and make sure you're hydrated. Dehydration increases cortisol. Water is great for hydrating and avoiding empty calories. And cortisol-reducing foods include dark chocolate, tea, soluble fiber, and avoid excess sugar consumption to help keep your levels down. And then there's certain supplements that can help, such as fish oil, ashwagandha, but the bottom line is, over time, cortisol levels can lead to weight gain, high blood pressure, diabetes, fatigue, ED, by blocking free testosterone, and difficulty concentrating. So here are some just simple tips to help out. We're also going to take a look at WebMD to really understand what is cortisol, because we talked about it, but let's get a medical perspective. So what is cortisol in a basic sense? Think of cortisol as nature's built-in alarm system. It's your body's stress hormone, and it works with certain parts of the brain to control your mood, motivation, and fear. Your adrenal glands, which are triangle-shaped organs at the top of your kidneys, make cortisol, and it's best known for helping fuel your body's fight-or-flight instinct in a crisis. But cortisol plays an important role in a lot of different things your body does, managing your carbohydrates, fats, proteins, keeping inflammation down, regulates your blood pressure, increases your blood sugar, controls your sleep-wake cycle, boosts energy so you can handle stress, and restores balance afterwards. How does it work? Your hypothalamus and pituitary gland, which are both located in your brain, can sense if your blood contains the right level of cortisol. If the level is too low, your brain adjusts the amount of hormones it makes. Your adrenal glands pick up on these signals. They fine-tune the amount of cortisol they release, and cortisol receptors, which are mostly cells in your body, receive and use the hormone in different ways, and you'll need to differ from day to day. For instance, when your body is on high alert, cortisol can alter or shut down functions that get in the way. These might include your digestive or reproductive systems, or your immune system, or even your growth processes. Sometimes your cortisol levels can get out of whack. As we talked about, too much stress. After pressure or danger has passed, your cortisol level should calm down. But if you're in a constant state of stress and you're in fight or flight mode because of your TPS reports or, getting to the office late, maybe it's going to do more harm than help, because your heart, blood pressure, and other body systems will get back to normal. But if you're on constant stress, the alarm button stays on. It can derail your body's most important functions. It can also lead to a number of health problems, including anxiety, depression, headaches, heart disease, problems with digestion, trouble sleeping, weight gain, memory and concentration problems. Too much cortisol, which is a noodle mass in your adrenal gland or a tumor in the brain's pituitary gland, can trigger your body to make too much cortisol. This can cause a condition called Cushing syndrome. It can lead to rapid weight gain, skin that bruises, muscle weakness, diabetes, and other health problems. Too little cortisol also can cause problems if your body doesn't make enough of this hormone. Doctors call a condition called Addison's disease. Usually the symptoms appear over time, and that can be tired all the time, muscle weakness, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite and weight, and low blood pressure. And if your body isn't making enough cortisol, your doctor may prescribe these type of medications or something else. So too little cortisol is also a problem. I just wanted to touch on that, saying the hormone itself, in and of itself, is not all bad. But too little or too much of it, just like anything else, can cause a problem. And they're saying, okay, Kareem, I'm stressed out on my job, or I'm stressed out, at life, or I'm stressed out in general. Where can I go? Well, you can go to Maximum Sustained Performance. You can just type it in Google like that. Click here, or go to MaximumSustainedPerformance.com, all one word. And then you can set up a free consultation, talk to an expert, to a different hormone doctor. And what that's going to do is, if you get an appointment, and if they do some work for you, they can see a snapshot and say, okay, your cortisol is high, or it's too high, or it's too low, or whatever the situation is. So hopefully that helped you paint a picture of what cortisol is, what it does, why having too little or too much can cause problems, and what those problems are. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hey guys, are you tired of the effects of low T, or worse yet, having the effects of low T and not knowing you even have low T? That can be debilitating, it can be frustrating, especially when it affects your personal life, your love life, and other aspects of it. And I know because I've been through it. The important thing is to find experts who know what they're doing. And you can do that at MaximumSustainedPerformance.com. That's MaximumSustainedPerformance, all one word, .com. Where you'll be able to get in contact and set up a free consultation with experts who know what they're doing, setting up easy appointments and understanding that it is possible to get past the effects of low T and to find a way to actually do it in a safe way through bioreplacement. So go ahead, check out MaximumSustainedPerformance.com today, and thank you so much for watching.